A day of nonstop rain, freezing temperatures the next 2 nights. Perfect time for a shakedown hike. 20 minutes in and I think I've gone about 300 yards. Definitely gonna cross some water. This is the trail right now. Boy, that's more wet than I want to get. All right, Shawnee State Park. I feel ya. All right, well, that's interesting. It says trail reroute there. I'm on the reroute, kind of trying to guess where the reroute is. It's this is the first part that is not very well marked and not advertised. I'm halfway to Camp 3, which is where I'll be staying tonight. Well, this is a kind of definitely what I was looking for. Well, we have a confirmation. All right, no more guessing, except for how much time is this adding or deleting? We'll figure it out. So, another confirmation sign, but still no arrow. And I am at a road intersection. Seeing as how the trail was headed on an easterly, I'm fairly confident it's to the left. But come on, Division of Forestry. You got to protect people from themselves. All right, on Ohio Route 14. So far been road walking about a mile and a half. So I came from that way, and that was the last or latest trail reroute sign. I see a trail here. Looks like a logging machine, but again, closed. No arrow, but I'll assume we're going this way. If there's any Ohioans out there watching, this is your tax dollars at work. Moving on. All right. Orange blaze. So, looks like we're going past this gate and up the trail. So 9.1 miles in. And you know what? If it was a sunny day, that'd be a pretty good view. Looks like some logging roads over there. It's facing east too. This would be a good sunrise, I bet, when the conditions are right. So from about the 8.6 mile marker to where am I? I'm almost at 10.25 miles. I gotta tell you, this is easy walking. I'm on a it's like an old log road. I imagine the Division of Forestry uses it to manage the forest itself. So, boy, I'm actually really glad for it because I'm still not 100% sure of where I am in reference to the trail. I have a good feeling. I believe that I'm almost to Camp 2, but just not 100% sure. But if that is correct, I've got about 5 miles left. So I'm definitely going to make it before nightfall, if that is the case. Anyway, everything is going well. The temperature is dropping. Last time I looked, it was about 53 degrees. So the wind has definitely picked up. I mentioned that earlier, actually. But with that, we're on the back end of that weather front. So the cold front is in, and the temperature is only going to continue to drop tonight. So I'll be glad for something warm in my belly when I get to Camp 3. So it was as I guessed. The sign to Camp 2 and water takes us down that trail right there. According to my map, right there, the distance from Camp 2 to Camp 3 is 3.5 miles. So got 3.5 miles left. I've got plenty of water, so I will get my water at that source. So it's good to know I've got 3.5 hours left. I'm well on my way. I've got, so little over about an hour and a half of walking left before daylight ends. So I got plenty of time. Well, everybody, it was a good day. I got in my 15.5 miles today. I am at Camp 3. I've had my dinner, I've hung my bear bag, I've brushed my teeth. I have all of my wet things and all of my electronics and all of my water inside of my sleeping quilt with me so that nothing freezes. Hopefully my wet clothes will dry a bit with the body heat. But that being said, it is hiker midnight. So I will look forward to I'll look forward to a good day tomorrow. Good night. Good morning. It is a little after 5 a.m. and I'm about to get my day started. It was very cold last night. There's actually frost on the ground. A lot of condensation inside the tent, mostly frozen. It's crystallized. However, a significant amount of condensation is on my sleeping bag, which is kind of odd. I had my tent vented. Both vestibules were open to allow a breeze through, but I think a combination of yesterday's rain and the swollen streams and creeks There's a swollen creek that is, you know, not even 100 feet from me, from this campground. And so I think all of that moisture in the air has caused some excess condensation. I'll try to get a shot of it here for you. But a lot of frost on the ground. I'm going to have some coffee, have some oatmeal, and think about the day. So, not very easy to see, but there's a significant amount of moisture on my sleeping bag. This might be an abort mission situation. I slept pretty warm last night. This is a Z-Pack's 30 degree quilt. You can actually see some moisture right there on it. But I have a 20 degree liner that I sleep under as well. And so I stayed dry. However, one night is one thing. Staying a second night in this bag is going to be a little bit iffy. I'll wait until daylight, give it another evaluation. You can sort of see the condensation that is frozen on the wall of the tent. Tent did its job. Again, it's the only thing I can explain for the condensation is the fact that there's just so much moisture in the air, and the moisture just laid on my bag, and where it typically would have maybe even turned to frost on the bag, my body heat caused it to stay wet. Because I'm high confidence that, one, the tent performed well, the water's beating down, and if it were to drip, it would go down through the vents at the end of the tub. But in this case, I'm very confident my sleeping bag was not touching the side. So, oh well. So, in case there was any doubt, frozen stiff. Those are going to be comfy. Good morning. So it is official. I am aborting the rest of the thru hike of the Shawnee State Park backpacking trail. So my sleeping bag definitely got pretty wet from the condensation. Again, the inside of the tent, while there was condensation, it was all frosted and crystallized. This is just generally, in my opinion, an issue where the moisture in the air, which would have settled as frost, as it settled on my sleeping bag, my body heat thawed it. So out of safety, I'm going to go ahead and call it. So I've got about a 5.1 mile walk back to the trailhead parking lot where I parked. And the sun is up. Should actually be a nice hike. It's about 34 degrees. There's definitely still frost on the ground. My feet are cold. My shoes were frozen solid today. But I started off with some dry socks, which is good. So some may ask, well, what would you do on the Appalachian Trail? And that's a very good question. What would I do on the Appalachian Trail if I was in the same situation? My sleeping bag got wet. Short answer is I would dry it. But so I had a set itinerary that I had to keep in order to complete the 36.4 miles in 2 days, to find a nice sunny spot and rest and stop long enough for my sleeping bag to dry today would put me significantly behind schedule. And I do have a full-time job, and so my time was going to take me through Monday, but the time to stop, still go to Camp 6 on the Southern Loop and finish, just at this point became too tall of an order. But this is not a wasted trip, not by any stretch of the imagination. I got to validate a couple things, got to proof a couple pieces of equipment, refine my pack, examples. I already talked about the umbrella, but I used a ground cloth for the first time. Not really required with the Z-Packs duplex tent because it's got a pretty rugged bottom, but I wanted to experiment a little bit with the ground sheet to see, if it was worth the time in the setup. And short answer, not really. The weight is nothing. It's only a couple ounces. But the area where I stayed last night, definitely very smooth. No roots, rocks, twigs, things of that nature. Will I experience those things on the Appalachian Trail? Sure, I will. But that being said, I have a patch kit. If for some reason I do get a tear, well, maybe I'll send for my ground cloth later. But I don't think that's something I'm going to start out with either. What is it? Due to hillside slip, portion of trail is not visible. Please follow orange ribbons. There you go, Department of Forestry. Now you're communicating well. There we go. So looks like we're going this way. Anyway, I'm on my hike back. Trail started pretty rugged, actually. Looks like we've got a little bit of a reroute here because of a slip. So I'm going to stop recording and pay attention to footing. So the trail back is just as primitive can be, but man, it is beautiful. Not particularly groomed until it connects with, I guess, a day hiking trail, but it is up and down steep hills, no switchbacks, but very enjoyable. You can see I got some heat going. It's beautiful day. About 34 degrees right now. The sun is out, which is making it feel a lot warmer than it is. It's kind of a shame that I have to head back, but again, abundance of caution, because it will be back down into about, I think, 29 tonight. And so, boy, if I had the time, I would totally just lay everything out and dry it out right here. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. All right, time for a little snack, some water, and then keep going. So what are my thoughts of the Shawnee State Park backpacking trail? Well, at least the North Loop anyway. So is it the Little Smokies? I doubt that. Definitely lots of elevation. Definitely not the majestic views. But is it a good shakedown hike trail? I would say definitely. For a good part of the trail, the North Loop, I would describe it as moderate plus. However, that 5.1 connector from Camp 3 back to the trailhead lives up to the name of masochistic. Very primitive trail. There are lots of sections that are not maintained. They don't appear to be, a designated trail by any means, except for the blazes, which are a combination of double white blazes to white and blue blazes. I assume because there are some equestrian trails that intermingle with it. But that being said, it's a very difficult trail until you're on an area like I am right now, where it connects with a day hike trail, in which case it's very well groomed. I would say that for the most part, the trail is very well marked until it isn't. The double white blazes on sycamore trees are a little sadistic. And when you're trying to find your markings and you look around and everything looks like it's a white blaze. However, there are some parts that are very well marked, especially the northern and eastern parts, which are blazed orange, very well marked trails. The water points, very well marked. So all in all, I would hike this trail again. So as I finish this little walk, I'm on my last half mile before I return to the trailhead parking to my truck. I would classify this as a successful final shakedown hike. I brought my 3-season equipment into the 4th season. The low was pretty low, but that being said, in the Smokies, I want to be able to plan for dips in temperatures, especially since I'm starting in late February on my approach trail hike at Amicalola Falls. So by the time I get to the Smokies, it's very likely to be some cooler weather, and so I want to make sure I'm prepared. I'm taking back some lessons learned from this hike. I'm more confident than ever, and a lot of my gear choices, I've refined it even more after today. And so coming up at some point will be my my gear list that I intend to carry on the Appalachian Trail. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you'd like to be made aware of updated content, please hit the notification button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do respond to every comment. Thank you very much for sticking with me on this hike.